Hey everybody, welcome to Banjo Quest. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to return to our roots and work on some fundamentals. So I'm just coming off of a weekend teaching at Fiddle Hell. If you don't know about Fiddle Hell, it's an amazing acoustic music camp and gathering in Westford, Massachusetts, run by the Reiner family. I'll leave a link in the description below. It is really incredible. And I taught 8 classes at Fiddle Hell, and I got to meet banjo players from literally all around the world, from the far-flung reaches of the globe, and I got to sit in a room with lots of people and see how people and what people are struggling with as they come to grips with learning this very weird thing called clawhammer banjo. Today we're going to treat the banjo as a percussion instrument first. One of the things I observed, one of the things that people were struggling with at Fiddle Hell was that they could make the percussive sounds happen on the first string, but as they moved to the inner strings, suddenly it was lost. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm throwing my hand in and engaging and pulling my hand straight out from the fulcrum, not the wrist. So all together, that double thumbing pattern on strings 1 and 5 looks like this. Now, the other thing I observed is that once somebody got this, as they got to the inner strings, they would revert until they got to the 4th string, and then it was like this push, where they were using sort of a lot of finger energy instead of percussive energy of the entire arm to get that 4th string to sound. So naturally, I would listen to players, and as they moved to the inner strings, their volume got quieter and quieter on the downstroke. And for me, that is a problem. You want every string to basically have the same intensity and volume, or at least the range of each string should be the same in terms of volume. So my big sounds on that 1st string should translate to big sounds on the 4th string, because my stroke doesn't change, just the gap between my striking finger and my thumb changes. That's the only thing that changes. Mechanically, I'm doing the same thing. So let's look at this. Let's think about what this 4th string means. The 4th string, there's a problem. You could probably notice it right away, or something you've wrestled with yourself. The problem here is that the next highest string impedes our follow-through progress. So that open 3rd string is blocking us. So my thought is I'm using the 3rd string actually as kind of a target for my energy of the stroke. I throw my hand down into the banjo on the 4th string, I impact the 4th string, and I press into the 3rd string and I watch it bob under the force of that downstroke. So with a simple double thumbing pattern on strings 4 and 5, I can see that 3rd string bend under the weight of my stroke with every downstroke. Because I'm hitting the string, I'm not strumming or plucking it. So it looks and sounds like this. Now I put those two things together and try to balance them out. I do my double thumbing pattern on the 1st and 5th, and then I do a double thumbing pattern on the 4th and 5th. So it sounds like this. Now, one of the critical aspects of this, beyond just making sure that your percussion stroke is active and alive through all of the strings, is the upstroke. This isn't talked about a lot, but I think about the upstroke a lot. You're doing it 50% of the time, right? In order to create a good downstroke, your hand and your arm has to be off the instrument so you can plunge down with lots of velocity and force to get a big, rich tone. So half the time you are upstroking. It's 50% of your playing. So when you engage that 5th string, when you activate it and you come up off the banjo, make sure at slower tempos you're coming off and you're coming off strong and straight, and putting yourself in a position to plunge back down into the instrument from a reasonable height. Don't cut that upstroke short because you're afraid of getting too far away from the strings. So this is one of those things that's happening with a lot of players. They're privileging accuracy over percussion and groove. And I think it should be reversed. I think accuracy is something that comes in time, and it's something that's less important than having a good, strong percussive stroke that never wavers, that is always plugging along with that clean, true eighth note pattern. So I think that can help free you a little bit. If you're less concerned about accuracy, you can attack the instrument from a little bit more of a height. You can attack it with a little bit more boldness and strength, and you're not afraid to activate that fifth string and make it an equal partner in your eighth note patterns. That should be nice and loud and bold. And think of the fifth string not only as a melodic element or a drone element, but as a preparation for good downstrokes. Because getting that fifth string to sound on your path up really influences how your next downstroke is going to behave. So it's a really important, integral part of your playing. Don't overlook it. Think about that upstroke and how it's impacting the rest of your playing, especially your downstroke. So now to take a more advanced look at this, we can alternate between the first and fourth. So we can get a nice... We can add some more speed. Maybe more. Press yourself on the speed. Try to see how far you can take this while keeping that clarity. So let's sum up. What are you looking for? You're looking for a percussive stroke straight into the instrument and out of the instrument. Think of this as a pool. Think of your hand as a stone, and you're throwing the stone directly into the pool, and then you're yoinking it back straight out, not at an angle. These angles I saw a lot at Fiddle Hell. Pull straight out of the instrument. Straight in and straight out. That's key. The other thing we're doing is we're not worried so much about accuracy. We're more worried about getting a nice percussive stroke and keeping that eighth note time, that clear tick-tock of those eighth notes really nice and measured out accurately. It's really important. The other thing we're doing, the third thing we're thinking about, is activating that fifth string and how that upstroke, the upstroke of Clawhammer, preps you for a good downstroke. Don't be afraid to get some distance between your hand and the strings at these slower tempos so you can practice generating this whip and velocity into the strings on all strings. The last thing you're listening for, of course, is to make sure your volume on your first string and your fourth strings are the same on your downstroke. Even those out. The thing I see so much is that as people work to the inner strings, it gets quieter. You don't want that. You want those inner strings to be full and big sounding. So just make sure you're activating that percussive stroke and not pushing or strumming on those inner strings. All right, that does it for today. If you want more of this material, if you'd like to support the Banjo Quest project, hop on over to Patreon. We'll be going into depth with this stuff, and I will be walking people through the B part of Piney Woods, phrase by phrase this week over on Patreon, along with live streams and tab downloads and all kinds of goodies. We're doing a giveaway this weekend as well, all for patrons. Hop on over there and have a great Thanksgiving. I will see you next time on Banjo Quest.